But yes, I think we're there. So welcome. It's Crafty Carol here with another live for you. A little bit different today because I'm not going to make one card. I'm probably going to make 2 or 3. We'll have to wait and see. Because I wanted to talk today about design ideas. Anyway, before I carry on with that, I just wanted as well just to remind you that there are just 2 more days left. No, hang on. What day are we? Tuesday. 3 more days left of celebration. So for any £55 order, you can choose 1 free item. So it's worth putting in an order if you've got a wish list at all at the moment. And there were some new items that came on board. Do check my emails and check the website for the details of the other items that are now available in celebration. Definitely worth looking at. There's some alphabet a la mode dies, wonderful free item in celebration for a £55 order. I think they were nearly that when they first came out. Anyway, definitely worthwhile if you can get to those. So please don't miss out on that. And just a reminder that, again, you've only got 3 days left of the joining offer, where you can get 2 sets of the stamping right markers that I talked about last week in this live for joining as part of your joining offer, as well as your £130 worth of products, and you pay for all of that, plus you get a free stamp set, just £99. So definitely worth checking out those celebration offers and making the most of it. You've only got 3 days to go, so please don't miss out. And remember, with the joining offer, if you don't ever want to buy anything else, you need never buy anything else again. Totally up to you. So today I wanted to talk about design ideas and how you might get those design ideas. So it's a little bit of a wing and a prayer type day today, because I haven't actually got anything prepared, and I'll explain why in a minute. Let me just swap the view to my craft desk. So, yep, there we go. And hopefully it's not quite straight. That's straight enough. It's close enough. So here's my craft desk, and I've got a whole load of stuff out here. And I wanted to talk about where to go and how to get design ideas. I still can't get that straight. Oh, I don't know. It's definitely not. I think that's better. That's better. Good. Where to go to get design ideas. Now, the first thing I wanted to mention is about using layers, because sometimes simple cards are as good as anything else. So if we had, for example, somewhere here, I've got some very basic card designs. So just any card base. This is a bit of basic white, which is the normal size that I normally do. Ooh, that is not my bone folder. That is my bone folder. And so the normal size for a card base for UK cardstock, it is it's A4 wide, 21 centimetres by half of an A4 sheet, which is 14.8 centimetres, scored at 10.5. If you're working with US cardstock, your cardstock is 8.5 inches wide, and you cut it at 5.5 inches, score at 4.25. So that is your basic card base. And of course, this can be in any colour you then wish. Now, it's really simple to make a very simple, straightforward card just by stamping an image, colouring it, and adding a sentiment straight onto the front of the card. Really simple to do. We call it simple stamping, and you'll find lots of ideas if you use the hashtag simple stamping for searching social media. So you might want to, for example, just use a blending brush to add a little bit of colour behind something, stamp your image, and then add a sentiment. Really, really simple. I've actually forgotten my blending brush because I was going to just show you this. Let me just go and get the blending brush. How I forgot that, goodness only knows. I also haven't got my blocks. Let me just get a little selection of blocks here. So I've got some to use. I don't know where those will do. And I've got myself a whole pile of stamp sets as well. So we've got, just loads here. Perhaps shall I just use those flowers today? I might just use this one and use the flowers. So perhaps I just want to make a nice sort of, I could use the heart actually. Yeah, we might use the heart. So I'm going to get soft sea foam, if I can find it. Just a really nice light colour. It's a really simple stamping card. I'm just going to hold it down with that. I obviously didn't crease it enough to hold it down itself. And then I'm just going to pick up some of the colour on my blending brush and just use it very gently to colour an area. Actually, I'm going to colour it down here. Of course, I've chosen a really light colour, so you probably can't see it too much, but you haven't searched simple stamping on Pinterest, Emma? Yeah, absolutely. It's a very good way. I'm terrible at it. I'm terrible at reminding people to do it, and also to tag my own posts. You won't find much of mine there because I keep forgetting to tag it. But we are asked to do it by Stampin' Up, and it basically is for any stamping that is just using paper and ink and stamps. That's what it's about. So simple stamping actually just covers that. And of course, I've used this really pale colour. I'm not sure if you can actually see it, but I'll show you why I'm using a pale colour now. There. So and I'm also not dabbing it off. So I've got a few little specks of deeper colour because I'm not doing this terribly carefully, but you get the idea. So really simple. We can just add a little bit of colour like that. And then I'm going to get a darker green. Which green shall we get today? I'm going to go with this no, it's lemon lime. I didn't want that one. I wanted granny apple green. Where's granny apple green? Granny apple green to use for the heart. I'm just going to put the heart stamp, ink it up, and then put it on top of my circle that I've made of the colour. So I don't know if you can see the colour behind it, but you can just see the colour coming through there. And I'm just going to clean my stamp. So yes, the hashtag simple stamping is a nice one to use for really simple, quick and easy designs. It's a good one to look at. So I'm going to use that. Oh, look, I've got some little leaves here already cut out of... No, I'm not going to add those. I got them left. If I've got little die cuts left over, I leave them in the case. It just means that I can do it. And I've just realised my little stamps there have vanished. Oh, it's stuck on here, thank goodness. I thought I'd lost some stamps for a minute. It's just stuck on the cover. Right, and I want the just because I care sentiment. Where is my smaller block? There it is. So just because I care, and I'm going to grab a little spare bit. I've got a narrower bit than that. Have I got a narrower bit? I must have a narrower bit in my spares box. Do you know when you're looking for a big piece, you can only find a small piece, and when you're looking for a small piece, you can only find a big piece. That's ridiculous. That one's not too bad. We'll use that. I can always trim it down. And I'm going to just stamp this in Memento. Now, if I'm doing truly simple stamping, I could actually stamp this directly onto the card. So I might put just because I care there. I want to show you just really quick and easy ways to jazz cards up. So I'm going to stamp this here. So I'm going to trim that down. It's too wide, that piece, for this tiny little sentiment. Because I want to do some... Oops, scissors already got lost. I've got my big scissors, but they'll do. So I'm just going to trim this, and I'm going to do it just by eye. I should use my trimmer, but I think that's going to be close enough. So this has now become not so simple stamping because I've already put a layer on it, but hey, because I want to show you one more thing that's really useful to do and can really jazz a card up. I often use gems to jazz a card up. Hello, Jenny. Regards from South Africa. Let's hope your weather is decent down there. We've got a lovely day here today. It's been really sunny this morning. It was really nice out. It was a little bit cold. The wind was cold, but I had a lovely walk this morning. So I'm just going to tie myself a bow really badly. Let's just adjust that bow. I seem to get one side particularly big. So there's my bow. Just got twisted as well. There. So I'm now jazzing it up. And so simple stamping means just stamping direct onto the card and adding a sentiment direct. I'm just going to jazz it up a little bit because I'm going to pop this up on dimensionals. Need my little mini dimensionals for this tiny sentiment. So I'll put a couple of those on. And I also get my glue dots. I got a strip from a kit that when I didn't use all the glue dots, so I've got lots on there that I can use. Kits are great. You get so much stuff left over. It's always there to use for other cards. I'll just drop that on the floor. Never mind, I'll pick it up in a bit. So I think we'll have this just down here like that. And then to finish off this card, I'm going to grab a glue dot and pop it just up here. Should have been in the middle, but it was close enough. And then I'm just going to make that a little bit smaller there and stick my little bow on top. And that's how to, so we can, at simple stamping, you would stamp direct. Jazzing it up can sometimes mean just putting a little something on dimensionals and perhaps adding a little bow or something. I could have used ribbon. I just happened to have twine on the desk, so that worked for that. Okay, so really easy to make simple cards just by doing that. But as you know, I tend to like to use layers. Just put this away before I forget to tidy up my stamps. There we go. This is one of the celebration items, by the way. Really nice. It's for a £110 order. Includes the dies as well, which cut out that and cut out all of these images, plus you've got extra flowers and sprigs and things. I've used it before. Really good. Anyway, that is my first idea for a really simple card that you can do. And obviously you can use any colour as a background with your blending brush. You can use any stamp you want and just a very, really simple sentiment. I actually wanted some sympathy and get well type cards, so this just works really well for that. Okay, so simple stamping, a good way to think about ideas. The next idea I have is use your catalogues. So when you get your catalogue, I'll bring in it's got all my papers in the front, ignore that. I bring in the annual catalogue here. My desk's already getting a bit cluttered. Never mind, we can manage. Then as you go through the catalogue, you'll see that for all of the ideas and all of the stamp sets, they have ideas of how to use them. So look through the catalogues and have a look at the cards that are made with just get to a section with some stamps. Here we go. So for any of the stamps, then you can see ideas in the pictures above that you can use with these stamps. So here, for example, they've used the football boot and the various the boots and the sandal and the football boot and made their own background. And what they've done there is stamped each of the images randomly, coloured in around them, you can see quite loosely, and coloured in the images themselves. Makes a lovely background, nice detailed background for a card, little strip of coordinating paper down the side, and stick that's a die cut. It's not from the one I've got out here. It's not from Stylish Shapes. I'm trying to remember what that one's from. But anyway, one of the die cuts from one of the series, just for the sentiment. So do use, that's from the books, which isn't on this page. But anyway, it shows you something. Oh, that's because it's showing off the mini alphabet dies. That's right. Okay. So again, other ideas here, just really simple card ideas, and look at them and relate it back to your own stamp set that you want to use. You might not have this particular stamp set or this particular stamp set. This has used this image, the little girl with the doctor and the teddy. But why not use that, for example, with the heart-shaped? So you can use this layout, which has got 4 strips of DSP across the middle of the card, a die-cut circle with the image coloured in, and I'm here for you a sentiment, which is embossed in white embossing on a little strip, with a bit of twine and a few gems. So use the ideas rather than the exact pictures in it. Yeah, but that's not all, because if you turn to your annual catalogue on page 22, Stamping Up have started in the last few catalogues giving us inspiration ideas. So this page, if I hold it a bit closer so you can see them, has all sorts of ideas for card layouts. So it doesn't tell you what to put there, but you can mix and match and do whatever you want, but it gives you ideas. So for example, this one here, keep it close. Oh, where are we? Closer, you can see it. This one here, you've got strips. That could be coloured card, it could be DSP, it could be a mix, just strips of colour laid across the card, and then a circle on which you could put a sentiment or another image and a sentiment, or whatever you wanted. You see the idea? Here, there's a layout of blocks of, could be DSP or card, sentiment across, divided into the thirds there. There's no measurements with these, but they're about giving you ideas for layouts. That's not all. In our current mini catalogue, we have even more. Where am I? Yeah, there. You can see the more in the mini catalogue on page 12 as well. Page 12 in the mini, page 22 in the annual. And they've got these card ideas. Now, this is quite nice because it's got the tags one as well. I think this one might be very similar to the one in the Christmas, which also had a lot of tags. But this is a lovely idea if you wanted to make a card with a gift tag on the same design. So you could look at the card and pick out the gift tag that uses the same idea to bring them back. So for example, this one here, you've got a card with a square and some circles on it and a little tag with a square and a circle. So they match up. This with the using the twine would match with that one, etc., etc. Another one with twine there. So just giving you ideas of how you can put these together. And it's a great place to go if you're wanting some inspiration. So I would recommend that you do go to the catalogues and get some nice inspiration for those. Okay, so once I've picked up an idea for a design, then I can just add whatever bits I want. So I've just put those away, and I shouldn't have done because I wanted to just show you. You can help me choose which one you want me to do today. Oh, that's very brave of me, isn't it? But is there a particular type of design you like in those that you'd like us to try today? Or do you want me just to pick one and have a go at it? I quite like this one at the bottom here, which is a strip down the centre of something and then various circles all overlapped. Reminds me of the one I made a few weeks ago, one of the mail cards where I used that sort of idea. Or perhaps we could use the strips with tied round twine and a circle. So many ideas here that we can use. And I just wanted to pick out a few of those. So here I'm using some odd colours together, but the beauty of Stampin' Up is that it will work. And I just want to show you a simple idea, just using different layers. So I've got, this is a retired DSP. I've got some Night of Navy and some Calypso Coral, which actually I think do go together as they are picked out in the paper here. So usual card base, and then just doing different layers will give us quite a nice effect. So I've told you the sizes of the card base, the 21 by 14.8. So the first layer, that means the front of the card is 10.5 by 14.8 long. So if we cut a layer that is 0.5 centimetre smaller, then we'll get a piece that will go on the front and just leave a little border all the way around it. So my usual layers, 7th one in the top row, I'll have a look. But let me explain layers first. Hang on, I've just shut the catalogue again. What am I doing? Page 22, at least I noted the page number. So the 7th one in the top row, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, the one with the tag and the string round. Oh yeah, we can do that. Yeah, I'll do that one. Right, I'll show you the layers first. So simple way to do layers is just make each one overall size 0.5 centimetre difference. That gives you a 2.5 centimetre border all the way around, which is perfect. If you're working in inches, then use 1/4 centimetre less, which gives you 1/8 of an inch all the way, 1/4 centimetre, 1/4 inch less, which gives you the same all the way round. So I can make the card really simply by doing exactly the same thing with the DSP. So just clearing my trimmer because I've covered it with stuff. So for example, which bit of the card do I want to use? I probably want to have a fair bit of blue in it. I think I'll use this because I quite like it. So if my second layer, or layer 1 on the base card, so I've got a base card and I've got a layer 1, so that is then 10 centimetres, because the width of the base card is 10.5 by 14.3, because the depth of the base card is 14.8, then my next one needs to be 0.5 centimetre less again. So 10 by 14.3 means this one is 9.5 by 13.8. So again, just using the little marks on the top of the trimmer, trimming that sheet of DSP down, and that gives me a third layer, which again gives me that little 2.5 centimetre border all the way around. So again, very simple to jazz this up. So very, very quick and easy to make, because we've just used a sheet of DSP and some layers. Then all I need is a sentiment, and I've just got out the "with you in mind," because on a card like this, I might want to use, I'm going to turn that round actually. I think I want the darker colour at the top, and then I've got room to have a sentiment across here. So I'm going to use the Thinking of You sentiment from this particular set, which is why I need to get a bigger block. These are sort of huge sentiments, but when you're just using a very simple card layout, then you can afford to have a large sentiment. So let me just see if that is big enough, that piece. Yes, it is. So what colour to do it in? Night of Navy or Calypso card? I'm going to do it in Night of Navy, I think. So all I'm doing is using the coordinating colours, and of course each pack of paper, I haven't got the paper from that one out actually, but each pack of paper has on the back the colours, the Stampin' Up colours that it matches that are in the paper. So this one had Night of Navy, hence my layer of Night of Navy. And I could reverse this and have perhaps that pink is, I think that's fresh fuchsia looking at that. So you could try fresh fuchsia and Light of Navy. They do go well together. That's a combination I love to have together. But I wanted to challenge myself by using opposite ones. So I'm going to just stamp up this Thinking of You in Night of Navy. And then you've got various options about how to cut that out, and I haven't got a die here with me. I'd have to go and get another die, but I could use a rectangular die. I could cut around the edges. I could just cut it as a banner. I'm not sure what to do for this one. What do you think? The oil paint paper is so pretty. It really is. It's retired, sadly. Sometimes there are things that retire and I go, oh, I wish you hadn't retired that. And that paper is one of them. I can't remember what it's called. I will have to stay straight. So I'm just trimming this down, and what I'm going to do with this, yeah, it's roughly right each end, is simply use my scissors to make a little tag at the end. Yeah, I will. I was just thinking I could, I'm dropping everything. I could cut it on an angle, but it would look a bit odd with Thinking of You, I think. I think I'd rather do a tag. So I'm going to work out where the middle is. So it's there. If I turn it around, do the same thing. It's that line there's the middle. And once I've got the middle, I can cut up whatever distance I want. So I'm going to cut up about that far, and then I can cut in from each side to form, put it right on the corner. There we go. To form my little notched end, my little flagged end. So same distance that side, just doing it by eye rather than measuring it exactly. There, I can then stick that across the middle there. I can add a few gems around it. I could put some ribbon around it. I might do, let's get some, we've got some, I haven't got any coloured, oh, I've got some ribbon. I've got some blue ribbon here. Let me use that. I can get into it. This is the Night of Navy bordered ribbon, which is available. It is a current thing. I haven't opened mine yet. Now I have. So I've got some nice ribbon here. Actually, that I might actually, I'm going to change my mind and cut round it because I want to show the ribbon. And if I leave it like that, it's going to cover most of the ribbon. So I'm going to do another way of really simply adding some interest to cards, which is to just cut around the letters. Really not too closely, don't make a big deal of it. Just sort of cut around the edges of where the letters are. I'm going to just go straight down on the Thinking of You. I'll come in a little bit. Then comes, I might go round the O actually, why not? Thinking of you, then round for the U, and then round the G to finish. So now I'll be able to see, just get rid of those bits, see the ribbon. So this is why I don't ever stick cards together till I'm absolutely sure what I'm doing, because I didn't want to mess that up. So I need ribbon scissors for a start. And I'll cut myself a length of ribbon. Then I need my catalogues lying open here, which are just crazy. Anyway, I need my tear and tape, so I need a little bit of tear and tape. I'm going to use my glass mat as I'm going to use this thick line here. And as long as it's straight, which I can tell either side, I'm not measuring how far up, I just want to make sure these go on straight. So that when I put the ribbon round, it is going to be straight. So just put a little bit of tape on the back here. And then I can stick my ribbon on. Lay the card down. When you're sticking the ribbon on the back, if you lay your card down flat, you're not tempted to pull this too hard, and you can see how if I pull it, it's bending the DSP. So have it flat on the desk before you fold the other end of the ribbon over. And then you know that it's going to be tight on the front. It doesn't look straight, but it was. Or perhaps not. I'm just going to try that again. It wasn't quite on the tape. That's better. So that gives you enough tension on the front. I haven't stuck it down on the front because it doesn't matter. I'm going to stick this on top, but it just means that it's flat and there's no tension that's pulling it. So that's how I always stick my ribbon. Have it flat and fold the ribbon over. So we can very simply just put this card together. I'd obviously do the middle. I'd probably, on a dark card like this, I would use an insert. For the inserts, I tend to use the second layer down, the 10.5 by 13.8. Just me, you could use whatever you wanted. And you can get a different effect by using different size layers on the top. So these layers are 0.5 centimetre different each way. If you did it 1 centimetre different each way, you'd get a much bigger, you'd get double the area around it. So you don't get such a narrow sort of bit around the edge. It would be double that size, so you can get a different effect that way. So another way that you can put something together and make it look very different is just changing the size of the layers. I'll put all this in the blog, so don't panic too much about not getting the ideas. So there is my paper. Just check I've stuck that on the right way. Yes, I have. And then if I stick this on with some dimensionals, you can see this is a scrap piece from last week. Didn't make this one into a card that I was showing you last week with the way to change it. I just kept the bit to use the reverse, always good. So I can use then thinking of you, trying to get it central. There we go. So that's now stuck on. It's not stuck down to, I might put an extra one actually, just around the edge of that, so it sticks to the card itself rather than just to the ribbon. That's better. So it just sticks it down. So it's not wafting in the breeze anymore. Because where I'd put those central dimensionals, it just stuck it to the ribbon, which is not exactly what I wanted. So I've stuck it on the bottom as well. And then to finish it off, we could just add a few little gems. So I've got, these were the ones I used last week. No, I might have used these for Thursday's video, actually. This might be a little preview of the card that I made for Thursday, which is really good. It's a fun fold card and it's such fun. So do check my blog on Thursday, because there's some great, there's going to be a great card on there. Well, I think it's great. So there we have, really simple layered card. So all I've done then is added a bit of ribbon and a sentiment. If that sentiment's slightly smaller, I might have added a little bow or a knot in the ribbon as well. But it doesn't need it on here because the sentiment's so big. So just simple layers can make another simple card. But you want us to have a go at making number 7, which is this one here. So card base with a piece on front and twine around it. Okay. What shall we do? I've got loads of stuff here. So I've got bases. I've got basic white and border basic white. Let's use basic beige, which is a super neutral colour for something a bit different, because white can get a little bit boring sometimes as being permanently the end. So usual card base. So there are no measurements with these designs. We have to actually guess it. Oh, Leisha, hello, how lovely to see you. Leisha is got some wonderful things up on her website and on her Instagram and things. So wanting ideas for designs, look there too. Do look to your colleagues. So I've got the Boko, what is it called? Beautiful Boko paper. It's gorgeous. So I'm sure one of these is going to, actually Calypso Coral would go very well with the beige. Oh, quite like that. Which one shall I use? Come on, Emma, you've chosen the cards. You now need to choose which paper we're going to use to form the bit in the middle. Yellow's quite nice as well. Ooh, wonder which one to use. I'm sort of tempted. We could go dark as well. We could go dark. How about dark? How does that look? Do you think that's going to go okay? So now I do have dies that will cut that pennant shape that we've used in that card design idea, but I think I'm just going to do it by guess. So I'm not particularly going to measure any inches or anything. What I am going to do is I'm going to use my pencil just to sort of guess where to go. So I'm going to turn this over and I'm going to want it to sit. The design has a fair bit of gap around it, so I'm going to go probably about that wide and about that long. So not measuring, I'm just sort of guessing what to me looks about right on the card, and you don't need to be mad about measuring. So now I can put those marks. I'll put that mark in the center channel, cut off that strip, oops, and then put the other mark in and cut that one off. And that gives me a piece that I can then use in the center like that. I quite like that. Do you think that's okay, or should we use something slightly bigger? That goes with the design, I think. And then again, it's suggested that we do it as a little bit of a pennant type shape at the bottom. So I'm going to find the center, again using my glass mat, again not measuring it, and I'm just going to cut up there a bit of a way, and I haven't decided how far. I'm just going to snip to find out. And once I've snipped it in the center, then I can come up from each side and go to that point, and that produces my pennant shape. So no measurements, I'm just doing it by sort of looking and guesswork. But if we look at this design, we haven't finished there. We have some twine tied around it. So I do have my neutrals twine here, and I'm very tempted to probably go for the sort of cream colour. What do you think? Yeah, because I want it to show up against the tag here. Now I could have cut this out of basic white card. I could have cut a second layer, and I could easily do that. For example, if I had, I don't know, some fresh freesia cardstock or something, then to do a layer for that, I would stick it onto the piece of DSP and simply trim round so I get the same shape. Yeah, not going to do that. I'm going to stick to the design that's on here, but I'm just saying what I might do, because I must admit, my temptation is always to make things a bit more complicated than they need to be. I'm not that good at simple cards, as you probably know. I've just lost, oh, there it is. Where have I put I did have it a minute ago. There it is. Honestly, this desk is so covered in absolute rubbish. Okay, so to stick my twine on, I'm going to do the same as I did for the ribbon on the first card. So I'm going to turn this round, and I want the twine in the design. It's about in the middle, so that's roughly in the middle. So I'm going to put a strip of tear and tape across the middle, using the line on my glass mat to make sure. I've now lost my pokey tool. I had all these things a minute ago and I scattered them around the desk. So We'll wrap some twine around. You know, when I say for gems, I always put an odd number on. I do the same with twine. I always have an odd number of winds round, if you like. So that's 2. And all I'm doing is pressing it on the back here to hold it down while I come round. That gives me 3. And I didn't leave a very long, I'm just going to take it off because I didn't leave a long enough tail to tie the bow that's part of this. I'm going to leave a nice long tail so I can trim it later. And then we're going to have 3 wraps round to keep catching the tail. I don't want to catch that tail, leave it there. 2, 3, there we go. That's 4, can't count. Right, so that's, I've got my 3 sort of layers there, and I need a nice long tail here, so I'll just chop that there. And then we can tie the bow bit at this end. So what I'm going to do, because I want the bow to make sure it sits on the front, is I can tuck one end of my twine behind so that it's properly stuck there, and then I can tie my knot, and it should stay on the front instead of slipping behind the back. There we go. So there's my knot, which is now staying nicely in front, which is what we wanted. And then I can, oh, I haven't left that much. Tie a bow, terrible bow, but I can now adjust it by pulling the end through. There, tighten it up again. And just keep fiddling till it's the size I want it to be. It's twisting slightly, which is always the problem with twine. Perhaps I should have tied a double knot to start this. That's not too bad. I'm going to give my secret with twine. I always struggle with twine to make sure it stays nice and how I want it, flat. Oops, I pulled the wrong one. That one pulled. There we go. So I want it to sit out like that, and I also want these to come out at the side as well. So my little trick for that, just make sure those are the same size. Do you think that's okay, or does it need to be a bit bigger, that bow? Perhaps a bit bigger. I'll just pull it back through there. Now it's twisting, you see. So my little secret for that is glue dots. I love glue dots for holding things down. So I'm going to just open that up and hope it stays open where I want it to be while I get my glue dots, which again I did have a second ago. I'm being very good at losing everything on the desk today. Where the heck never mind, I'll get some proper glue dots. Oh, there's another sheet of glue dots from a kit. You might have some somewhere. So what I'm going to do with this glue dot is I want it to stick down that little bit of bow there. So I'm going to put it on without pushing it down, and then use my pokey tool just to ease it into a little line. Yeah, so I've made it into a little sort of bulb, if you like, of glue dot, and then I can stick the edge of my twine over it, and you can't see the glue dot, but it is holding my twine where I want it to be. So that's my secret for twiny bows that you want to keep in a particular place, is use glue dots. So I'll put another one down on this bottom one, which also seems to want to twist. So we'll do the same thing, just put the glue dot down under where you want one arm of your bow to be. Take off the top and squish it up into a little line. Narrower the better, and then we can stick the bow there, and then I might put another one behind these to hold them, or I might just leave those because I might quite like those going up and down. Yeah, we just need to trim one end. There we go. So there is the using the, that's not very straight, is it? How have I managed to get it so unstraight? Never mind. You get the idea. So that's using that design. And then I can just add a sentiment there. I might put one across the top, or I might have it actually away from the pendant. I don't know. Where do you think? Let's have ideas, folks. Where do you think I should put a little greeting on that one? Just going to stick this on here. Now, There's not much on this card, so I'm going to use dimensionals because, as I said, I'm not very good at keeping things simple. I have to have a little bit of interest in my cards. So I'm going to use some dimensionals using the end of this pack here. Just have a couple of strips of dimensional there, just so I've got a little bit of depth on my card. I don't know why, because I end up putting large letter stamps, which costs me the earth, but I just prefer cards that way. So the design had it in the middle, so we're going to put it in the middle there. There we are. That's based on the design, this design here. So I can hold this without dropping everything out. So, oh look, I've matched colours on the page. So that's that design there, made into a card. And as I said, we can just add a sentiment on there just to add it up. So no longer a secret. No, it is not a secret. It is a tip. So have a tip about holding bows down using glue dots, because quite honestly, my bows, I'm not very good at tying bows, so I need help with holding them down. So this desperately needs a sentiment, but I'm not going to faff around doing that now because I want to show you a couple more things. So there is just use the designs in the catalogues for giving you design ideas. So that gives us another one. So we've had 2 so far. Seem to have lost the first card completely. Oh, it's over there. Look. So we've got 2 very simple stamping design, just jazzed up a little bit with some dimensionals for the sentiment and the bow. Another one with a bow, which desperately needs a... Do you know what? I'd be very tempted to have a small circle on this one. What was in that heart-shaped one? A thank you. A thank you on a little circle. That might look nice, mightn't it? Let's just try that. I got blocks out. For heaven's sake, woman. Honestly. I can't tell you what a mess this desk is now in. Oh, you can see a lot of it, but I'm going to have it on. I need a big enough bit to cut a circle out, actually. Oh, an oval. Yeah, I might do an oval. Let's do that just in some memento. Pop that in the centre of that, and then my lovely double oval punch. I think we'll just punch this out quite nicely. Let's have a look. And it will. Look at that. Another way to get 2 layers, by the way, for a sentiment is use both of these. I think I probably could. I could have done one in basic beige and then put this one, I made this one a smaller one in the middle. Might do that. I'll just get some basic beige. Bear with me. I just need a bit big enough. I've got lots of bits in here, so that bit will do. So I'm going to cut the big oval in that, and we'll cut this as a small one. Now, another little tip, I need to get that in there to punch it, but obviously I can't hold it and tweezers get awkward, so use, if I've lost all of those, yeah, there we go, sticky notes. So easy. I can just stick a sticky note on that, and then I can put it in where I need to be. I can actually see, a little bit too big for the bottom, so I'll just fold that bit up. So then I can see where to punch. I can see the U through the sticky note. So there we have that. And then I can just take the sticky note off. And there I have my punched out thing. So another little tip for you, giving away all my tips and secrets. Lovely, you've got to dash off. Hello, Fresher here. You need to put the food away. Yes, you do, because it will go bad otherwise. So thank you for joining me, Emma Lou. I hope you're still there to hear that. And I'll see you soon. Do watch out for my card on Thursday. I think it's coming out on Thursday on YouTube, which is such a fun fold. I've thoroughly enjoyed making that one. Right, so let's just put this together. Grab a little one of these. I'm leaving that bit on the back because it doesn't matter. Stick this onto here. So watch out for our punches where there are, and then I'm going to just stick it on the middle with some dimensionals here. And there is my, I'm going to have it just coming off the side actually, because I don't want to cover the bow. Now I've got that nice bow just sitting there, it should be. Might have to stick a glue dot this side of that one as well. But anyway, there we go. So yeah, look okay, happy with it. So we've got quite a few cards using simple layers, using simple stamping, using a design from the catalogue. There are so many ways to just pick up ideas. And as I said, if you have a particular stamp set, just look at that stamp set page in the catalogue, because that'll give you more ideas from the ideas that they've taken pictures of in the catalogue. So I need to tidy this desk up a little bit, I think. Oh dear. Really. Okay, so what other ideas did I have? Oh yes. Of course, what I do find is that the ideas they put up, they tend to all be for portrait cards this way round, opening like this. But we can also use the same ideas to do landscape cards. So this card is my alternative card base. This is for a landscape card. So this one is the length of A4, which is 29.6 by 10.5, scored this time at 14.8. In inches, if you're working with the US cardstock, it's 11 inches wide, that cardstock. So you cut it at 4¼ inches and score at 5½. And that gives you a landscape card. But you can very simply just turn these designs round and use the same design, if that makes some sense. You can actually use this quite sensibly. So I've just got a little bit of card which I can either use inside or on the top. But one of the ideas that we were looking at here, I'll get this out, was using strips. So we've got 3 vertical strips on that card. Why don't I turn this round and make them horizontal strips for my landscape card? So that's what I'm going to do here. So again, I'm not going to, I've got so much stuff on this desk, it's mad. It's mad, because I've got so many different sets and things to show you today. Oh my goodness. So I'm not going to, again, measure. I'm just going to roughly guess where I want to cut my strips, what width I want to cut my strips. And I'm going to cut it at that, somewhere around 13 centimetres, I think it is for that, but I'm not measuring it. I'm just going to cut it. And then this piece happens to be 9½. It would be 9½, wouldn't it? Because it doesn't divide terribly well by 3. But what I'm going to do, I want 3 strips, so it's roughly 3 and a bit centimetres each strip if I want to keep them the same. Or perhaps I'll have the middle one slightly wider. So I'll use the right-hand side of my trimmer, and I'm going to cut 2 at 3 centimetres. I don't know why I turned it round. It's not a directional pattern, but you'd need to do that. This middle one is just slightly bigger, as you can see. It doesn't matter. So I'm going to turn that over. So I've got the beauty of double-sided paper. So I love Melon Mambo. It's such a lovely bright colour. So now I've got my strips. Am I happy with those? Yes, I am. And I can either have them butting up, or actually I might cut this one down to 3, and then I get a decent gap between all of those. So let me cut this one down to 3 as well. There we go. Let's get rid of that bit. We don't need you. So there I have 3 strips of 3, and they will just make a nice pattern here. And then I'm going to just use, I might use Best Wishes. Should we have Best Wishes? Or I'll make another thank you card. I'm actually ready for thank you cards. I keep running out of thank you cards. I use them so much because obviously anybody who orders, I will send you a thank you card. So I do tend to get through quite a few. So we'll use thank you. And I've used Melon Mambo. Let's go Melon Mambo mad. I'll just reach my Melon Mambo ink pad. And we will stamp this. Make sure it's nicely inked up. I don't think I'm picking up the ink properly, but hopefully it will. I'm just going to stamp that in the middle of this bit here. Clean the stamp straight away. When I'm using a dark ink, a red ink, I always try and clean the stamp straight away. They will stain with these darker inks. It's just inevitable. It doesn't affect their performance in any way whatsoever, so it doesn't matter. Just put that away before I forget, given I've got so much stuff out. I'm getting mixed up with stuff here. There we go. So there is my thank you, and I did have my stylish shape dies out. So with strips I can either use, now the idea in the book was a circle. Okay, a circle, fair enough, let's try a circle. So we'll go with one that hopefully fits. Not quite big enough, we'll use the next size up. And if I can get enough room on the desk, we will cut this out. I don't think I've ever done such a slightly chaotic live, to be honest. I'll just put that punch away, and that gives me a little bit more room. And somewhere I have my plates. So we're going to cut this thank you out. Perfect. Luckily, that is just big enough. My little tip for using the mini cut and emboss machine is always, when you're putting the plates together, don't line them up exactly. Always have them a little bit not lined up, as you can see with those. It goes through the machine so much better. If they're lined up exactly, it can sometimes be difficult to get them through, and I don't like stressing machines. I think that sometimes that's not good for the plates, it damages them. So there is my stylish shapes circle cut out. Thank you. So then we can put the card together. I'm going to start off by putting the central strip. If I'm putting a number of strips, especially a fairly even number, I always tend to start with the centre one, because I think it's easier to fit the others either side and make them look reasonable. If you start with an edge one, it can look a bit odd. Up to you. There's other designs that I've showed you there that use lots of strips of DSP slightly offset with each other, then it doesn't matter which you use. So I'm going to make this just by eye, central top and bottom and side to side, and then we will stick the other two strips on. Just making the gaps between the strips the same, top and bottom. So, as I said at the start, do not forget you've only got 3 more days of celebration and that fantastic joining offer. I really don't want people to miss out on getting that, because those markers are lovely, as I showed you last week. So there is that. Now, the picture did show twine going around the whole lot. I'm not going to put twine around the whole lot, because I haven't got any Melon Mambo twine here. I've probably got some Melon Mambo ribbons somewhere. I could use white, actually. I could use white on it. That would look okay. So, yeah, I probably should have wrapped it around the strip before I stuck the strip on. A bit late now. I am going to show you, this is a trick I do use when I've made some stupid mistake. If you use your pointy tool before it's stuck down fully, you can sometimes just dig a little channel enough to stick in a little bit of something like this. So I'll show you just digging up that little channel and then use your pokey tool to push this in. I'm probably not going to leave it in, but I just wanted to show you how you can use that. And just come off now. My pokey tool's slightly sticky. This isn't helping. But there you can see it just sort of not very well, but you can stick it in. Works well with ribbon. But I'm going to have to do a bow again, which is very bad because I'm not very good at bows, as you know. There we go. I might do a double bow actually. I think we need a little bit more, so I'm going to get a length of this and just chop it off. And then we'll have a double bow. So I've just doubled the twine there, which doubles my chance of getting this completely wrong, but we'll see how we go. Not too bad. So again, I can adjust my lengths of my, what are they called? What are the bits that stick out like wings? I don't know what they're called. The loops. Adjust the length of my loops. No idea what they're called. Is there a name? Is there a name for bow loops? I don't know. What are they called? I have no idea. It's funny the things you suddenly think of. Right, so I'm getting those the same length. Dropping my scissors too. Like that. So I've got a nice double bow there. That's not too bad. And then I'm going to stick this on again with some dimensionals. I use every bit of the dimensionals, so I do use these bits down the side as well. So you don't want to waste any, and you don't need to waste any. So thank you. I'm going to need to trim those a bit, probably make it slightly smaller too. There. That'll do. And then I'm going to stick that on with a glue dot that I've lost. Oh no, I'll put them back. Thank goodness, found the glue dots. Oh, I'm sticky as well. I've just stuck bits of the ends of those ribbons down there. I'm going to put 2 here. I need to wipe this because it's got a little bit sticky. There we go. And then I can just place my bow on there to stick it down. And then to finish this card, I'm going to use some of these gems, which are, again, they're free with celebration. I think they call them purple gems. Purple adhesive back gems. They're not purple to me. They are pinks. Definitely pinks. This one, the darkest one, is probably nearer anything else. But anyway, we'll have a few of these. 2 small ones and a big one, I think. There we go. So I've added to the design on the card because I just think it needed something at the top if I'm putting a bow at the bottom. So what do we think? Is that okay? So not quite the same as the design, but I use the design as the idea, and then you can go and do something else. And this spare piece here, this little piece here, I can use as an insert. Again, this is what I'm saying about layers. The layers can be whatever size you want. So this gives a much bigger edge if I use that piece in there, or I could cut a piece that was bigger. Up to you, but I don't need much for an inside of a card. Thank you card. I'm just going to use from that stamp set. I think I'm going to use the star just as a little bit of extra decoration. And I would also, I haven't got any envelopes out today, and I haven't got a small block. I did have a medium. Oh, that one's not too bad. I'll use that one. So I'm going to use the star just to add a bit of decoration to this insert that I'm going to put in. And I would also use the same decoration on an envelope because I always like an envelope decorated. I think, yeah, don't never forget to decorate an envelope. There we go. I just think, again, it adds to the beauty of somebody receiving it through the post. They're immediately attracted because there's something nice on an envelope as well as what's in it. Don't wait for them to open it. Make them get excited by putting that on. So my thank you cards inside I tend to leave blank because I'll usually want to write a particular message because it'll be thank you for something, and I don't know what that something is going to be. So now my glue's running out as well. Oh my goodness, I've already used up more than my time, but we've not done too badly today. And I hope it's given you some ideas. There we go. Let's finish that one very quickly. And if I can find the other cards I've made, which I have lost again. What have I done with them? Put them over there. There's things cascading off the desk. You don't want to see the rest of this craft room at the moment because it's, oops, I can push that off the desk. That's not good. It's a bit of a mess. But there we go. So 4 very different cards. This one, to be honest, I'm going to get something. I need a design around the edge. That's a bit too plain for me. I'm going to add just a little. There's a lovely design in the cake one, the one that has the dog, the set that has the dog, the birthday celebration set, which I don't actually have out at the moment, but it has, or something like the little flowers or something like that. I just need something around there, I think, to finish that card. But really simple ideas for design. I hope that you really enjoyed that, and it's given you some ideas for doing your own designs. So I'm going to finish there. I'm exhausted. There's such a mess to clear up, and I hope to see you again next week. The ends of the bow, the tails, absolutely, Jenny. But what are the loop bits? Are they just the bow? I don't know. I'm now puzzled, and I'm going to have to go and search Google to find out what you call the round bits of the bow that stick up above the tails. I'm happy with tails for this. I know about tails, but is that just the bow or what is it? I don't know. I'm going to have to go and find out. Anyway, some ideas for how to get inspiration when you're lacking it for cards. And I hope you have fun and do use the inspirational designs in the catalogue, as I've shown you today. Thanks for joining me today. There will be some sort of blog that tries to pull all of this nonsense together, which will be out very soon today. And the card I'm doing on Thursday, the one that's coming out in the video and blog on Thursday, is a really great fun, a D loop. Oh, is it called a D loop? Or is that D? Yeah, D loop. Is that what it's called? I never knew that. I've learned something today. I'm so glad. Thanks very much, Leisha. Never knew that. Right, I now know what to call those bits of bow. Oh dear. Anyway, join me next week, next Tuesday. No idea what we're doing yet, but have a look at the fun fold that's coming out on Thursday afternoon, UK time. See you again next week. Thank you for joining me today. Bye for now. That's what Alexa says. Oh, well done, Alexa. I never thought of asking her. Oh, my Alexa's just turned on. Never mind. Bye for now.